Okay, we're here. We're live. Dr. Jack Wolfson, cardiologist, natural heart doctor. This is a YouTube live. And welcome, everyone. This is all about 10 reasons why you should fire your cardiologist. And I don't mean to insult the cardiologist per se. And if they have to go find a different job, some of them, that's not my intention, is to put people out of work. My intention is to make people as healthy as possible. And that's what we do here at Natural Heart Doctor. So welcome to this conversation about 10 reasons to fire your cardiologist. The chat box is open. Feel free to say hello in the chat box. Ask questions in the chat box. I'll get back to those. My team is here and monitoring. If you are new to the channel, you're not subscribing, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. My intention here is to give you the best information, and this is our first live that we're doing on YouTube in quite a while. And this is about 10 reasons, again, why you should fire your cardiologist. Interaction's good. Hello, Jess. And New Hampshire's in the house, and Pizza Wingit from North Carolina. Again, welcome everybody in here. And I'll be doing Q&A, so I'll answer all your questions here as we go along. Make sure you like and share this information as well. And sharing this information just may save someone's life, because heart disease is the #1 killer in the world. Myself as a cardiologist for all these years, I don't think people are getting the information that I know they're not getting the information they need. They're just getting the pharmaceuticals and the procedures, and it's just not going to be working. So give me some time. We're going to get through this top 10 list. So reason #1 to fire your cardiologist is because they don't want to work with you. They perceive the relationship as a dictatorship, but it should be a partnership. You should be partners with your doctor, and you should be able to have good conversations just like you have with anyone in your life. Let's just have a conversation. Don't talk down to me. Don't dictate to me. Tell me why I need to do these things. If you want me to take a statin drug, tell me why. Tell me the data behind it. If I take this, what does it mean? If I don't take it, what does it mean? What are the side effects of this? We need to have these conversations. If you want me to do a CT scan or a stress test or take chemotherapy or take an aspirin, I want to know the data. I want to know the percentages of what happens if I take it, what happens if I don't take it, what happens. And again, I want to know the side effects. And candidly, I want to know alternatives. That's what we're looking for here. So, feel free to comment, here in the comments box. Are you getting these meaningful conversations with your doctors? Do you know what I'm saying? Are you having this partnership activity? Because that's what it really has to be. It has to be a partnership and not a dictatorship. So they're not geared towards that. They're not used to these conversations. They don't want to have these conversations, but I really feel that you deserve it. Comments are coming in. Yeah, most people are not getting these conversations with their doctors. #2 reason to fire your cardiologist is if they blame genetics. If they blame genetics, that's automatically a bad sign that they just don't know what's going on. They're not really speaking to you truthfully. If they say, well, you've got the heart attack gene or stroke gene, there really is no heart attack or stroke gene. Your genetics are perfect. I want you to say that right now. I want you to close your eyes and say, my genetics are perfect. I'm built in the image of God, or evolution, or however, you think we got here. And my genetics are perfect. It's when we overlay the genetics with the man-made poisons, that's when disease occurs. But don't blame my genetics. Family history is true because we eat, live, and think like our family members did. That part is definitely true, but it's not in the genes. When I was in medical school in the 1990s, we learned all about, that was when the Human Genome Project was going on, and we studied all the genes. It turns out it's not the genetics, it's the epigenetics. It's how we eat, live, and think, interact with our genes, and that leads to disease. So if someone has told you that it's in the genes, go ahead and feel free to put it in the comments section there as to how that all went down as well. There's also a thumbs up button. You can also, if you're liking this, you can press that kind of button as well. Number 3, not to work with, reason to fire your cardiologist is basically if all they're doing is giving you drugs. In particular, for number 3, let's talk about statin drugs. If all they're saying is, hey, Jill, nice to see you. You've got a family history. You got some genetics. Take this statin drug and you're on your way. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. What's going to work is root cause methodology. And again, you want to know, okay, you want to prescribe a statin drug to me. What are the benefits? What are the risks? What are the alternatives? And the reality is statin drugs can lower numbers down, but they don't meaningfully lower your risk of heart attack, stroke, and dying. It's not about how do we reduce your heart attack risk from 3% to 2.7%. It's about how do we reduce it to 0%. They don't do it. I didn't do it in my old career as a hospital-based cardiologist, but that's what we do now at Natural Heart Doctor. So if all they're doing is throwing statin drugs at you, then you want to look for a new doctor. Time to fire that doctor and move on. Thank you so much for your information. I'm going to go find somebody else who wants to work with me. Now, number 4 is that if they prescribe blood pressure drugs without a plan to get off them, like if you go into their office and your blood pressure is 200 over 110, yeah, you're going to wind up on a blood pressure drug, and rightfully so. That's okay. That's okay. It's not something I would take personally, but I can accept that. But the goal has to be, how are we trying to get you off of the drug? By using our methodology of this 100-year heart method: eat well, live well, think well, test, don't guess, evidence-based supplements, biohacking strategies. But if you are on blood pressure drugs, the goal is to get off of the drugs as soon as possible, because they don't work, tremendous side effects, false sense of security. If your blood pressure is normal on 3 drugs, you're not the same as me with normal blood pressure on no drugs. You get that? We're not the same. We're not the same. I want you to be the same. I want you to be the same. So that's number 4. Number 5, if the cardiologist recommends a coronary calcium scan that I call the calcium scam, time to find a new cardiologist. Because what happens is they do the scan. In most cases, it's abnormal. And then they will do a few things. They for sure will recommend a statin drug. They for sure will recommend an aspirin. And they are going to recommend some kind of a stress test, which I'll talk about next. But a lot of you have had a coronary artery calcium scan, and that's okay. That's okay. If you have the coronary calcium scan, I'm not here to admonish people about what they did in the past. The past is the past. We've all got a history, and we're not here to beat up people about the past. We're talking about moving forward. So never get another CT scan again. And if you've never had one done and it's recommended to you, it's time to find a new doctor. And it's great, if you did a scan and it was 0, but 0 doesn't mean 0 risk. It means lower risk, but the scan does not look for soft plaque. Now, I don't think you need to look for soft plaque. What we do here at Natural Heart Doctor is we do the most advanced lab testing in the world through blood and urine testing. And then we take the bad stuff and we move it over to the good column. That's what we work people with, myself and my other cardiologist and team here at Natural Heart Doctor. So you don't need the coronary artery. You don't need another scan. You need a plan. You don't need a scan. You need the plan in order to really achieve heart health. Number 6 is that if they recommend a nuclear stress test, definitely time to walk out. Now, you can do a stress test if you have symptoms. If you go to the doctor and they say, you're like, oh, my left arm hurts sometimes with activity, sometimes at rest, the doctor could say, okay, let's do a stress test, but it should only be you versus the treadmill. It should not be an injection of nuclear material. You see, the nuclear material is radioactive, and that radiation causes cancer, causes brain disease, causes everything bad. So We want to make sure, again, that you're doing everything, to avoid excess chemicals and toxins. Remember this too, people. Everything is from two things: too much bad stuff, not enough good stuff. So you flip the script. You get more good stuff, less bad stuff. That's your survival strategy. But if you need imaging, meaning they want to do a treadmill stress test plus something to see better, they can do what's called a treadmill echocardiogram or a stress echo, where they use ultrasound, which is very likely to be amongst the safest technologies. Not going to say it's zero risk, but certainly safer than injecting nuclear material. You see, when the technician comes in to inject you with the material, after they get IV access, and then what they do is they have to come in with the nuclear material, and it comes in a syringe, and the syringe is wrapped in lead, and it comes inside of a lead box. And a lot of the technicians these days, or technologists, whatever they want to call themselves, they wear a lead gown because they don't want to get blasted with radiation. Now, they handle the materials all day long, so that makes a lot of sense. But if that's dangerous enough that they have to do all these different things, why would we think we can inject this into your body without ramifications? So, and there's a perfectly good alternatives to the nuclear. Now, we did the nuclear. You ask, why would the cardiologist do all that nuclear testing? And it's very lucrative. Reimbursement typically for a nuclear scan is around $2,500. And most cardiologists are recommending 8, 10, 12, 15 of those per day. It adds up. And I'm not here to say that cardiologists do everything for the money. I don't believe that to be true, but it is very money financially driven. That's just the way that it is. So if the test itself can hurt your heart, maybe it's time to question the test. Think about that. All right. Number 7 reason why to fire your cardiologist is because they don't talk about nutrition. If they do talk about nutrition, they give you some mumbo jumbo about, just go low fat, low cholesterol. They say that because that's the mantra of what we've seen on television for years. And it's a script that's been written by big box agriculture, big food, because they want to sell you the cheap food in a box that's highly processed, and they make a lot of money from it. How would Kellogg's and Quaker Oats and Nabisco make money if they're telling you to eat free-range grass-fed meats, wild seafood, eggs and avocados and coconuts, nuts and seeds, fruits and vegetables, raw cacao, fermented foods, fresh foods? Like they don't do that. So this is how the American Heart Association, who's bought and owned by Big Ag and Big Pharma. I know people, sometimes it sounds conspiratorial, but sometimes the conspiracy theories are true. And let's just have an open mind and open dialogue. But if your doctor's not talking to you about root cause, if they're not talking to you about nutrition, then all they're doing is quite simply this, right? JP, you have a family history. Here's the drugs. Get a stress test on your way out. Bye. Why are we going to those people? Now, the physicians, again, they're not in medical school. We never learn about nutrition. I went through 4 years of medical school, 3 years of internal medicine, 3 years of cardiology. We talked about nutrition 0 times. We talked about food because we would talk about what kind of food we're having for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or what kind of stuff we're going to have the pharmaceutical reps pay for on a Friday afternoon lunch. And millions of people have died because they don't get the message about what to eat. So if all your doctor is a drug dealer instead of a root cause dealer, it's time to find a new doctor. Now, the nutrition we talk about at Natural Heart Doctor is what I just said, and it is what I follow. I'm not the 80-20 guy. I'm not the 90-10 guy. I'm the free-range, grass-fed, grass-finished, wild seafood paleocardiologist. That's my book, The Paleocardiologist, The Natural Way to Heart Health. If this is If you don't have a copy of the book, maybe my team can put the link in there. You can get a copy for free, freeheartbook.com, freeheartbook.com. Pay shipping, we'll send you a copy of the book, freeheartbook.com. It's got all my, nutritional recommendations. And on our website, I got all this stuff. My team has all this stuff. I'm not the vegan cardiologist. I'm not the vegetarian cardiologist. I'm not the carnivore cardiologist or the keto cardiologist. I'm the hunter-gatherer guy, the paleo guy, whatever you want to name it. This started with my journey at the end of 2004 into holistic medicine to find out what is the best diet. And I started reading books by like Weston A. Price, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. He's a dentist who travels around in the 1930s, talks about what to eat, what not to eat, what these hunter-gatherer tribes were eating. And when they eat the right foods, they would do well. When they would eat the wrong foods that was introduced by the white man, people got sick. So we don't want that to happen. We want you eating organic paleo foods and really focus on eating more of the good stuff and less of the bad stuff. If we get as much good stuff as we can, then we're not really going to have much of the bad stuff. There's not much room for that. If we start off the day, for example, with a cup of Cardiology coffee with raw cream, and then maybe, a couple hours later, whenever, we have scrambled eggs, with raw cheese or avocado or salmon. That's the way to do it, people. But if your cardiologist is not talking to you about that, they're making a big mistake. And, work with a cardiologist who talks about nutrition. I'm not the only one out there. I just happen to be the best. And I happen to be the one that really walks the talk. If you want to go see a vegan cardiologist, you can do so, and they'll tell you to go vegan. If you want to go carnivore, I guess I'm not aware of any carnivore cardiologists per se, but I'm not opposed to eating meat. I love eating meat. And the vast majority of the calories and nutritional value in my diet comes from eating seafood, number one, and meat, number two. And if all you get out of this entire conversation, people, is to eat more seafood, please do so. Please do so. Okay, reason number 8 to fire your cardiologist. They don't talk about the healthy lifestyle. Is your cardiologist, are they talking about sleep? I just got done with a consultation here. This guy flew in, him and his wife flew in to see me in Arizona. And he said, honestly, from a heart standpoint, I feel fine. I'm just struggling with sleep. And I said, if you're struggling with sleep, that may be the most important of all. Because if you're not sleeping, everything else falls apart. The importance of sleep trumps nutrition, trumps exercise. If you don't get sleep, you can't do anything. You're toast. So you need to get that high quality sleep. You need to get high quality sunshine. What is the purpose of our skin, people? What is the purpose of our skin? Our skin is a solar panel built to collect light. Our eyeballs are built to collect light. You see, I'm tan because I'm always outside. Are you tan? Look at yourself in the mirror. Are you tan? And if you're not tan, you want to make sure you get tan. Because if you're not tan, you're in trouble, people. You're definitely in trouble. All right. So make sure you get that tan that's going. All right. Movement. What are you doing? The most important thing for your heart is to build muscle. That's the most important thing. Build muscle. Hey, if you're liking this, everybody, make sure you subscribe to this information, and we'll keep it going. We'll keep, make sure that you get all the information you need over here on YouTube. And then also, if you're liking this information, give me a thumbs up. I don't know if there's an ability to give a thumbs down or not. This platform is a little bit new to me. I'm pretty busy over on Instagram. And on Facebook. Please make sure that you're following us on our Natural Heart Doctor Facebook page. And then also on Instagram, if you're on Instagram, check us out over there, natural_heart_doctor over there. And I have great information about there. The other thing about lifestyle that they're not talking about is environmental toxins, plastic, phthalates, parabens, the mold mycotoxins, when you live in mold, when you live in water damaged bacteria. We talk about that a lot. So make sure you're working with a doctor who is literate on EMF. We are electrical, right? If we do an EKG on you, we're looking at the electricity of your heart. What happens if you're wearing a electric watch? What happens if you are near a Wi-Fi router or a cell phone tower. All these things impact our electrical. So we want to minimize it as much as we can. We can't totally minimize it, but the more we minimize it, the better we're going to be. So if your doctor is not talking about the healthy lifestyle, and throw in chiropractic into that as well. Make sure you're seeing a chiropractor to help with the lifestyle and to adjust you. And that's going to be part of your health plan as well. And now, number 9 reason to fire your cardiologist is if they're not talking about your mindset, if they're not talking about the importance of stress relief, it's time to fire your cardiologist, because stress is a massive factor. Every time I've seen thousands of heart attack and stroke victims. And one common thread over there certainly is stress. Why did they have a heart attack at that moment? Why did they have a stroke at the moment? And invariably, we can trace it back to some stress. Now, there's nothing we can do about the stress that they had, but how do we deal with stress going forward? How do we deal with stress going forward? And there's all different types of techniques. Is your doctor talking about that? Whether it's deep breathing, meditation, just taking in a breath. Alternate nostril breathing. Box breathing. All these things that we can do. Prayer. Gratitude. Purpose. Passion. But if they're not talking about the mindset, you're missing a lot. And I think that you got to do something about it. All right. Finally, last but not least, number 10, if the cardiologist is not ordering the most advanced testing in the world, it's time to fire your cardiologist and find a new doctor who does the most advanced testing in the world. Now, if you're looking for the most advanced testing in the world, that's what we do here at Natural Heart Doctor. And if you go to the website, you can look under the testing areas. You can also go to naturalheartdoctor.com/CHAT. And there we could give you the information about your status. And we can look at all the inflammatory markers of oxidative stress, advanced lipids, LP(a). We can look at things like homocysteine, and we can look at intracellular vitamins, minerals, proteins, and fats. Take, for example, something like vitamin K2. What is your levels of K2? Maybe you're taking a K2 supplement. Maybe you're not. Should you not? But this is what happens. If we monitor intracellular K2 and levels are low, then we got to get it higher, because K2 keeps the calcium in the bones and out of your arteries. So you have less risk of osteoporosis because you have more calcium in strong bones, and you have less calcium in your arteries. And that's what we help with. So, for example, just that one thing. Now we also measure intracellular omega-3 fatty acids. The higher the levels, the lower the risk of everything. Monitor intracellular CoQ10, which, by the way, statin drugs deplete. So we don't want that. So again, you want to do the most advanced testing in the world. And one thing I love is our triple toxin testing, where we're looking at pesticides, phthalates, parabens, molds, heavy metals, all those kind of things. So we want to look at those as well. It's not just about doing a total cholesterol or an HDL and LDL. It's about doing the most advanced testing in the world. Find out the good things about you, the bad things about you, and then how do we work and then prove that we move the bad things to the good category. And that's how you know you're on track for the 100-year heart. That's how we know. That's how we know you're on track for the 100-year heart. And that's what we do every single day at Natural Heart Doctor. So I'll get into some Q&A. I appreciate everybody being here. Please subscribe, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the channel. Please like this video. Please share this video. And I think we're going to go a long way towards ending the #1 killer in the world, which is cardiovascular disease. Mainstream medicine, mainstream cardiology is not working. They're great in emergencies. If you're having a heart attack, you want to go to the hospital. You want them to take a look. You want them to take care of you. But when it comes to the prevention, treatment, and reversal of chronic disease, people, they have nothing. We want to offer you so much better. Okay? So ultimately, let me see if I can find the questions in the chat box. Let's see what we got here. Can you reverse calcified plaque? The answer is yes. Now, first of all, we don't need to reverse the plaque. We can leave the plaque the way that it is. We just want we want to prevent the plaque from breaking loose. We want to prevent the plaque from eroding, leading to an acute myocardial infarction. We're not going to do that with pharmaceuticals. We're not going to do with statin drugs or with injectables. But we don't need to reverse anything, although we have done that at Natural Heart Doctor. But everybody on this call can live with their coronary anatomy or their pipes for the next 100,000 years. We just want to prevent them from shutting down. That's what our goal is. So it's not necessarily plaque reversal, but we definitely can do that. The UK, not holistic at all. That's totally true. People are using our products. MRI, heart scan. There's no reason to have an MRI, certainly from a preventive strategy, sometimes from a diagnostic strategy, but even then it's rarely necessary. I can't even think of a person I've spoke to over the last 10 years where I'm like, oh, I'd like to get a cardiac MRI. Can't think of that at all. Is there a supplement you can advise? If I can say one thing, Gina, again, I'm super busy. I don't need necessarily consultation business. I do have other doctors, who are doing that. And if you're asking for one supplement for general health and wellness, I'm going to say that it's our unvaccinated bison liver heart kidney complex. And that's what's called Kickstart My Heart, naturalheartdoctor.com/kickstart. And that's our unvaccinated, free range, field harvested, prairie grass fed bison liver heart kidney. Check that out. Homocysteine level of 11 is too high. Yes, it's not horribly high, but it's a sign of B vitamin deficiency. You don't want to take the synthetic Bs. You want to take bison organs, which have all the B vitamins in there at the perfect dose. Someone's got a calcified plaque, 90% occluded. What do I suggest? Well, I think that there's certain, again, the foundation is always about the 100-year heart method, eat well, live well, think well. But then from a supplement standpoint, I like products like Arterisol, I like Flow, I like Optilipid, and Emu oil that we sell is also very high in vitamin K2. So I would like that. If someone has atrial fibrillation, there are pharmaceutical anticoagulants. There's also natural blood thinners, if you will, and they can be very helpful. But that may be more of an in-depth conversation, kind of looking at what your stroke risk is. I do prescribe Eliquis and others when necessary, but ideally, if we can avoid it safely and effectively, that's what I do. And I offer people conversations, right? If your doctor, number one, if your doctor is not having conversations with you, it's time for a new doctor. This is not a dictatorship. It's a partnership. Please remember that. Okay. Somebody has an issue with their pituitary. Ultimately, I would look at kind of why does somebody have an issue with their pituitary? Can we help with that? Are there certain natural strategies to improve hormonal function in those people? That's what I would do. Particle numbers, particle sizes, Teresa, very important. Make sure you want to look into those, okay? And what we do really at Natural Heart Doctor is that the only things we measure are ApoB and ApoA, and then we calculate the ratio, the BA ratio. The lower the ratio, the better. And really what it's about clearing out old LDL particles, and the liver has to do that effectively. And if we give the liver the tools it needs to clear out the particles effectively, that's the strategy. Your body's not making too much cholesterol. It's not clearing out the particles. That's what it is. So yeah, Jess, my cardiologist wouldn't discuss Flow because it isn't recommended by the FDA. The Food and Drug Administration. This isn't a food and it's not a drug. Flow is nattokinase serrapeptase, and it is in the literature. So what you can do is you can say, okay, it's not, doctor, it's not discussed by the FDA or it's not in the guidelines, but here's some data. Would you be willing to discuss this data? I found this on the internet. And I pulled it from the medical literature, this study that showed that nattokinase can actually help reduce plaque, can help lower blood pressure, can help improve blood flow. And it's one of the main ingredients inside of the Japanese superfood natto. So that's what we do. How do we clear out the particles effectively? Eat well, live well, think well. Of course, our favorite supplement for clearing out the particles is this product here called Optilipid, Optilipid, Optilipid. And that's the 7 ingredients in there that are all natural. I created this product, and it helps to clear out old LDL particles, lower inflammation, lower oxidative stress, better blood sugar. There you go. Shirley up in Canada, again, you got a lot of things going on. Individual consultation, advanced lab testing would probably be helpful to you. If a cardiologist wants to put him on Ozempic, that's a good time to get rid of the cardiologist. Husband is not deficient in Ozempic. It's not an Ozempic deficiency. There's too much bad stuff, not enough good stuff. So let's get more good and less bad. What if he's deficient in seafood and has low levels of omega-3 fatty acids? That leads to AFib. It's not an Ozempic problem, people. It's not, you're built perfectly, but you're deficient in Ozempic. Take it. You're deficient in statin drugs. Take it. You're deficient in ablations. We got to go after root cause. I think that the story on Ozempic is going to come out very soon and similar. If it slows down gastrointestinal motility, I think it has to increase the risk of cancer. I'm not aware of any data definitively yet that's showing that, but it's not something I've ever prescribed or ever would recommend as a root cause cardiologist. So, Janet, I'm on it, Doc. Already purchased, but only been taking 1 daily. We're talking about Optilipid, I would take 2 daily. On that. Ken, if you're on pharmaceuticals, you can often take the supplements with the pharmaceuticals. If I tell you to take Kickstart, which is our unvaccinated bison liver, heart, kidney, you can do so safely, and because it's food. Like it's just food. So it's not really a problem. I can't really think of any supplement per se that's going to interfere significantly with a pharmaceutical, but that may be where you talk with us and we help you, find out root cause, find out reasons why. Wife recently had a calcium score of 59. It's mildly elevated. Should you worry about it? I wouldn't worry, but I would be proactive. Why is wife developing coronary calcification? How do we slow that down? How do we reverse that? But more importantly, how do we prevent something from breaking loose and shutting down a pipe? What I would suggest to anybody is that if you want to go to the naturalheartdoctor.com, if you go to the website, you will see a tab there on the menu bar that says consults. You can do a free discovery call with one of our coaches, or you can work with one of our doctors directly. And there's something there for everybody. If you want to work with me, there's an option there. If you want to work with our other doctors that, quite frankly, are less of an investment and just getting the same great information because I've trained everybody in my company, you can do so as well. Living in Dubai, Abraham, I do consultations on people in the Middle East. So I'm not aware of anybody over there. You don't need anybody over there. You just need someone somewhere to work with you. And that's what we do at Natural Heart Doctor. How to decrease LP(a). The best thing for that is time-release niacin. Although I've got some data really on our methodology. We turned someone's LP(a) from 72 to 27. That was pretty cool. An appointment with Dr. Latanza next week. Whatever information you can send in. Dr. Latanza is one of our doctors over here. She is absolutely brilliant, but most importantly, she's a great person. And she just always keeps digging to find the root cause of why people are sick. She is great to have a conversation with. She is a partnership person, not a dictatorship person. If you're on olmesartan, you want to be careful with potassium, but if you have normal kidney function, it's really not a problem. Sure, check with your doctor. But if you're on olmesartan, the goal is to get off of the olmesartan, and we do so very often with potassium supplementation. For example, we have a product called Potassium Boost. Part of our, one thing you may want to look at, Candle Lady 239, is I'm going to put this into the chat box myself. It's called 7-Day BP Fix.com, how to fix your blood pressure in 7 days. You can get a copy of that and take a look and see what you think. So, anywho, that's right. So put in your last questions. We're going to log off, but I'm going to do this again I appreciate everybody being here. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so when we go live, you're notified. And I'm going to put out some really good information. I've been a little bit lax, if you will, on getting onto YouTube. I'm very busy. I'm very busy as a family man with my wife and our 4 children, our dog, and 13 cats at the moment. If anybody's interested in cats and you're out in Arizona, we've got some beautiful, healthy cats that have never been medicated for you. Please feel free to email us. Aside from that, though, again, I want to continue to get the most important health information in the world out to you. Cardiovascular disease, #1 killer. People are not getting answers. People are being told by their cardiologist that it's genetic. They're getting older. They're being prescribed pharmaceuticals. They're not getting to the root cause. Work with a root cause cardiologist, people, and we'll give you the best information in the world over here. Myself, Dr. Andrew Rudin, my other cardiologist, Dr. Latanza, Dr. Tanya Rainier, our anti-aging longevity specialist, Dr. Smeagol, who's doing what's called various procedures for biohacking, including tissue plasma exchange. We're pulling out things like microplastics, toxic metals, mold mycotoxins, other environmental toxins. So you can check that out as well. So I'm going to be back with another live stream. And I think you can tell I really enjoy this. I love this format. And if you have any questions, email us, health@naturalheartdoctor.com. You can ask questions here in the comment section. My team will monitor the comment section. We've got a Facebook group called the 100 Year Heart Community. You can check that out as well. So again, thank you. We had thousands of people who showed up for this live. I appreciate you all. God bless you all. Wishing you the best in heart health. And if you're looking for another cardiologist team, no matter where you are in the world, consider working with us at Natural Heart Doctor. Read, learn this information, share it with people you love, because your mom, your sister, your brother, your best friend, everybody's taking pharmaceuticals. Everybody's just being overdrugged because the medical doctors, that's just how they're trained. That's just how they're trained. We can do better in every facet. So stay tuned with me over here at Natural Heart Doctor, and we'll see you next week.